Emily, who's got the press review for us today, she's starting off with French reactions to the 2025 immigration statistics. They were published by the Ministry of the Interior yesterday.
Yeah, well, these stats are being discussed in most of the French papers, as you can imagine. Let's start with Les Echos. They go through the report in quite a lot of detail here. France saw an 11% increase in residence permits, increasingly issued for humanitarian reasons. There was also a decrease in regularizations, meaning a decrease in the number of undocumented migrants getting legal status in the country. Deportations, meanwhile, increasing by 15%, and French immigration is on the front pages of a number of other papers. Let's have a look at Libération here today. This is their front page this morning. Its headline reads, "Why France Needs Immigration." The left-wing paper focuses on the decrease in regularizations and argues that economic migration could be the solution to the country's economic struggles. On the right, meanwhile, Le Figaro, this is their front page here today. They're talking about this story too. They talk about record numbers, which it calls a migration tsunami. The paper says it's no surprise that the French people do not trust their politicians and turn to the extremes for some answers.
Meanwhile, the Spanish government just announcing their new groundbreaking migration policy.
Yeah, exactly. Spain has announced that it will give legal status to 500,000 undocumented migrants. It's all over the Spanish papers, as you can imagine. This is El País. It says that the move goes against the European current. Quotes, most EU countries are hardening their migration policies, even if countries like Italy, Greece or Portugal have had similar policies in the past. Now, the left is broadly celebrating this move and this policy. This is El Salto here today. It calls it a historic green light, which stems from a citizens' legislative initiative that gathered more than 700,000 signatures. Let's have a look at the right of the Spanish press with El Mundo here. They have a slightly different tone. The paper says that although migration is needed for growth, this strategy is not realistic in the long run. The paper also points out that right-wing parties are planning to oppose the plan at an EU level.
Now, Emily's found an interesting piece on Iran that she wants to highlight. You found this in Le Monde.
Yeah, this is a long read in Le Monde, which is well worth a read if you have time here. It's a collection of testimonies from Tehran. It describes a collective state of shock in the country after the regime's brutal crackdown on protests. It describes people talking about the dust of death being everywhere. Iranians also talk about piles of bodies in the street put there deliberately to dissuade people from engaging in any more protests. The article also says that the regime is actively hunting down doctors and nurses who helped wounded protesters. Now, the arrests are around 41,000, but the number of casualties, meanwhile, could be anywhere between 6,000 and 30,000 people. It's a tough read, but an important one if you have time.
Climate news now. This is coming out of the US.
Yes, this is news in the US that the US has left the Paris Agreement for the second time. This is an article in the New York Times. It's the only country to have pulled out of the historic international agreements to fight climate change. Now, according to The Guardian, it's an abdication on climate. The paper turns its attention to the rest of the world to see how countries will respond. Meanwhile, earth.org, a climate website here, talks about a race to the bottom. The article also quotes the EU's climate commissioner, who said that, quotes, it shows a clear absence of leadership and will have a significant impact on America's reputation. Now, by pure coincidence, the Washington Post has this article today. It talks about scientists who say that the world is closer than ever to doomsday. The doomsday clock, which illustrates how close humanity is to destroying itself, has ticked ever closer to the apocalypse. According to scientists, we're now 85 seconds away to midnight amid rising nationalism in the US, China and Russia, as well as threats from AI and, of course, climate change.
You'd be glad to know it's not all doom and gloom. As we wait for the end of the world, Emily's come up with a few things we could do to occupy ourselves.
Yes, well, Americans have had a little glimpse into what the apocalypse could look like with the terrible cold storms. And this is the solution they have found: heated Rivalry. They were told to stay indoors during the cold weather. And now sales of the gay hockey love story heated rivalry have soared by 529%. This is after New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani urged people to protect themselves, stay inside and pick up a copy of the love story. Now, this article even says that the love story is the only light left in our messed up world. But if sports is not really your thing, there's another thing we could do whilst we wait for the apocalypse. We could have an admin night. It's apparently all the rage, according to CNN. Admin parties are the new book clubs where friends get together and sort out their admin over a pint of beer. So I suggest we do that whilst we wait for the world to end.
Oh, have you finished, Emily? Sorry, I was just filling in my tax return. Just finishing it off.
Good, I'm glad.
You didn't bring the beer, though.
Sorry, I forgot. I'll bring
Tomorrow.
crisps next time.
OK. Emily Boyle with the papers on France 24. That's the latest. More coming up in a few minutes' time.